Warning: the following podcast, which contains strong language and mature content, is unsuitable for children or for the faint of heart. The subject matter discussed will be frightening and graphic in nature. Listener discretion is advised.
When you wanna hear about the paranormal, you get the Spooked Girls. True crime that makes you hypothermal. With the 3 Spooked Girls, stabby snippets will give you dreams. Tara and Jessica will make you along with the Spooked Girls. Bring on the slaughter, we on that haunted ground. Spooked Girls. The 3 Spooked Girls.
Hey Spooksters, and welcome back to another episode here on 3 Spooked Girls. My name is Tara, and as always, I am here with my ghoul friend Jessica.
Hello.
Hello. And today, Jessica, please tell them what I will be presenting because I can't do it without laughing.
I know. Tara's been telling me about what she was going to do today. And then immediately my brain ADHD'd. And so today's topic is going to be Aqua Tofana.
Aqua Tofana. We're here.
And you're like, what the fuck just happened to Jessica? You cannot say it without the whisper of like it being...
No.
I don't know. It's giving very early 2000s like perfume commercial.
Oh.
Aqua Tofana.
Insert awkward like fading in montage, like someone holding a bottle and then zooming in and then with the bottle. And then there's like, I feel like there's like a desert situation, you know, like the Britney ones where they were, just, you can't see her. She's holding her soda bottle, but it's like, you know, like the whole Vanna White-esque, the whole thing. So that's the vibe today, guys.
It's like the Britney Spears commercial and they're like running through like the streets of Paris, or this one would be like Rome because it's Italian, you know, with the flowy dress behind them, like too flowy, like nobody's wearing that much of a train because it's like you would just trip. And there's like someone talking about the perfume, like if you want like luxury, but then at the bottom, like underneath you just every once in a while, like she turns a corner and it's like Aqua Tofana. That's the vibe I get from this.
Oh, totally. That is like the whole vibe today for sure. But before we get into that and crack up the whole episode, if you are new here, hello, welcome. Thank you for checking out the show. Returning Spooksters, welcome back. If you're not hanging out with us on social media, I don't know what you're doing, but you need to go do it right now while you're listening to my amazing voice, aka not amazing voice, but while you listen to my voice, go ahead and go follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, all of the places. Our handle is at 3 Spooked Girls. We also have our amazing Facebook group that we would love to invite you to as well. That is 3 Spooked Girls Official. We've been talking about Secret Satan the last few weeks, and that is where all of those kind of fun things live. Super exciting. Can't wait. Love seeing people's stuff already. It's amazing. And if you are a reader, you can also join our book club. We have Spookster Literary Society. We host it in the Bookclubs app. And then at the end of each month, we have a virtual meeting in our Discord. All of this stuff that we mention here in the intro each week is in the show notes in the link tree below for ya. And if you would like to support the show and get ad-free episodes the day before, you can join us over there. Starting as little as $1, you get 1 bonus episode a month. Right now, we are kind of ping-ponging. Jess has been doing an ongoing series on her months of weird state laws and if they're true or not. And it is literally some of my favorite times to record because some of these laws that are actually true are literally insane.
They are. And you're like, there's no way. And then I Google it and then I find the law and you're like, holy shit, what were people thinking?
Right? Love it. So yeah, we do that. We did a choose your own adventure story recently. Spoilers, me and Jess finally lived after doing these for like fucking years.
I know. I was so excited that I lived because typically I make all the wrong moves and Tara graciously allows me to back up and but let's face it, I died pretty quickly in most of them. But this one, we made it all the way through.
We did. And honestly, it was so fun. We have a fun one planned for Halloween since October's all tier releases on Halloween, of course. So that'll be fun. And maybe we'll do it on the main feed sometime. I don't know. I liked it. And I know Jess liked it too. So a lot of good times. But if you would like to support the show, get a ton of bonus content, and like I mentioned, get ad-free episodes the day before, go check that out. Oh, and if you haven't, I keep forgetting to mention this on my episodes. If you have not caught up on Social Seance Society, go over there. We are fully into our Twilight deep dive series, and this week's episode would have, if you're listening on published day or after, part 2 is out, and we are talking about Midnight Sun. And spoilers, as much as I love the Twilight universe, I fucking hated that shit. Edward is a wordy, indecisive bitch. Oh my God. I can't wait.
I'm so excited.
Yes, go listen to the full thoughts and rants of us over there. I'm sure it's going to be a great time. Let's be real. Jess and I have so much fun over there. So if you would like extra free content of us, check out Social Seance Society. But okay, it's time. Are you ready for Aqua Tofana?
Aqua Tofana. Yes.
Okay, we won't do that the whole time. I fucking promise. Actually, I don't promise.
I can't.
But
I was like, I can't promise that, Tara. Don't sign me up for things you can't cash a check on.
Right. I was gonna be like, I can avoid it, but if Jess starts, I'm just gonna keep going. So it's fine.
Literally, she was telling me what she was doing. She said it in the call. I was driving home, and for 5 straight minutes, Tara's talking, and then just breath pauses. She wasn't even done talking. I was like, Aqua Tofana. She puts up with me a lot. I'll tell you guys that.
Listen, it just makes my life so much more fun. So it's all good. But okay. So if you are I just feel like I have to. I'm not going to, guys, but I just feel like I literally cannot say Aqua Tofana normally. It just feels so wrong, but we'll make it through. So in case you are completely unfamiliar with this case or need a refresher, let's just start with the note that we're going to start in 17th century Italy, okay? And you think it is a hellscape in this world today for women. It was not a good time for them back then. Women were auctioned off like objects to men, and usually these marriages were abusive. And like we see in history throughout the world, women had no financial or social power and really only had 3 options in life for themselves: to get married, to stay single and become a sex worker to hopefully survive and not be, killed or catch some kind of disease, or to become a respected and well-off widow, which of course would put us back at option 1. So it's you got 2.5 options. Pretty much, if you want to live without a man type of thing throughout their society.
I love that it's only 2.5.
Only 2.5, not even 3 if you think about it.
2.5.
Mm-hmm. And luckily for them, 17th century Rome had a flourishing criminal magical underworld, quote, quote, that provided services to make all of this possible. So fun fact, during this time, there was this community under European cities that was made up of people who were alchemists, apothecaries, experts in, quote, black magic. And the reality was these people, yes, some of them did dabble into some sort of what people would describe as, quote, witchcraft type of activities. But truly, a lot of them, surprisingly, were doctors or priests who pretty much were I don't want to call them dirty cop type of situation, but if you think of how that shit was set up, it was kind of they were ew, I just feel so gross being it was a dirty priest, but I don't know how else to describe that.
A corrupt police or priest, yeah.
Corrupt, okay.
Dirty as well, but
that could be taken the wrong way.
Yeah. I mean, probably the Venn diagram of that is probably, circle, not, not 2 together. It's probably very overlapping.
Oh, for sure. When I was doing my research on this, I found out that in Versailles between 1677 and 1682, King Louis XIV faced a series of murders by poisoning at his court in this whole scandal of a thing called the Affair of the Poisons, or also known as the Affair. And this would end up with a whole fucking thing. and his royal social companion named, I am so sorry for saying this wrong, Madame de Montespan was executed. And also there was this powerful potion maker named Madame Monvoisin as well. I mean, low-key, I kind of love, I love that it's women, but it's also like, of course you blame just the women. So, you know. But speaking of women, that's going to introduce us to Miss Giulia. So she was believed to be born in Palmero, Italy around 1620. And when she was 13, a woman who people believe is her mom, I do have to say up front, there is not a lot of documentation with this case. There's not a lot of documentation with her. There's no actual proven portraits or anything like that. There was one that was like kind of floating around for a while that they believed to be her. It can't really be confirmed given this is the 1600s. And also think about it too, like it's, you know, it's in a different country for us. So that's even an extra obstacle. But like overall, we're a little limited on like her background, and some of it could be hearsay, some of it could be real. I like to think that this woman was her mother because it's kind of interesting because Tofana de Amado was executed for poisoning her husband. Got a theme going already.
It's a generational thing.
It's a family business, apparently.
Family business.
So it is believed that after the execution, she started hanging out with that same crowd still. So like the apothecaries, saying that she learned the art of herbal remedies, cosmetics, and medicine. Around this time, she moved to Rome with her believed daughter, which it's also kind of like, especially like for both of them, it's like, okay, we don't know if these are their children or if it's like, you know, because of the crowds they ran with and then maybe the kid was by itself. You know what I mean? Like maybe they just took her in type of thing. Kind of the same thing. But they believe that this person named Girolamo Sparra is her daughter, and kind of the same thing because she also eventually is in this family type of business. So I'm like, y'all just passing stuff down. Okay, got you. And even was said to use Giulia's recipes. And so she had this group of women that banded together with her, and she earned a reputation herself as becoming a friend to all troubled women. Her group of poisoners also included a Roman priest named Father Girolamo, who would help with their network and had a brother who was an apothecary. So it was like a connection and all this stuff. And I just found that really interesting that not only with Aqua Tofana, but like in cases similar to this during this time period, again, like I said, so many people were recruiting these priests. So I was like, interesting, right? Now, there was quite an array of different types of women that were in this circle with her. They were said to be women who were shunned, widowed, poor, and outcast. Included in this group were scryers, what they listed as abortionists, so I guess like doctors basically, midwives, sorceresses, and then, of course, Girolamo, this supposed daughter or whatever the heck the situation is. Now, there was also a woman named Maria Spinola, who she was a thief, sex worker, and seller of charms and enchantments. Along with them was a couple other people who were known to dispense a poison during mass and at the washing streams. And then this woman named Giulia Farina apparently would just like disappear from time to time. They said she would go on pilgrimages. I'm like, oh, so she's going to get more supplies. That's what it is. So they had a whole thing.
I was like, yeah, she doing a supply run. Like,
right.
They're like, she's so pious. She goes on all these pilgrimages and she's like, bitch, I went shopping.
Right. And interesting enough, speaking of gathering supplies, it's believed that her supposed daughter was the one who supplied the arsenic for the Aqua Tofana poison. And essentially, they knew out the gate what they were going to use this for. But for their front, of course, everything is cosmetics. And so basically, Aqua Tofana was in this little glass vial that had an image of San Nicola de Bari. This was disguised, and the excuse was, oh, this is just an oil for blemishes. So of course it could sit on any woman's vanity. And yes, it technically did work for that.
Yeah, it is an oil for blemishes. It gets rid of the blemish of your abusive spouse.
Right, a little bit. And now, interesting enough with this, there was actually an article published by the Chambers Journal in the 1800s, and they made note of Aqua Tofana's instructions. Quote, administered in wine or tea or some other liquid by a flattering tatress. It produces but a scarcely noticeable effect. The husband becomes a little out of sorts, felt weak and languid, and so indisposed that he would scarcely call in a medical man." End quote. Now, one thing about Giulia, she knew all about the timing. She knew you could not just kill your husband on the first go. You gotta play the long game. Gotta play chess, not checkers with this if you don't want to be, executed.
Smart.
So we would have a few doses. So the first dose normally was diluted in some kind of liquid, and this would cause exhaustion and physical weakness. So think like their wine, I would just say wine because that was kind of like the drink of choice. But if they had water or tea or whatever, they would put a little in there. Now after this, we get to dose 2, and this is gonna escalate some stuff. If you're eating, I'm sorry, but it's fine. So this would bring on stomach aches, vomiting, some sources said diarrhea, and others said dysentery. I'm like, oh, we are amping shit up.
Just getting the poops.
Just getting the shits. It's fine. Now, again, according to the Chambers Journal, quote, "After the second dose of poison, this weakness and languor becomes more pronounced." And then this was an example of someone who did this to their husband. "The beautiful Medea, who expressed so much anxiety for her husband's indisposition, would scarcely be an object of suspicion and perhaps would prepare her husband's food as prescribed by the doctor with her own fair hands." End quote. And then finally, you would make it to the third. Maybe sometimes you'd have to do a fourth dose. Kind of just depends on your subject, but this would take care of the rest. The poison and the method for administering it meant that doctors and investigators believed that the death had been caused by some kind of unknown illness or disease. That the slow nature of the poisoning meant that its victims had a chance to get their affairs in order while their wives were there to exert their influence over what that order looked like. And then, of course, death comes. And tragically, those often who were victims of this would lose their life to their sick beds, as they described. And people would just assume this is what it was and say, what a shame. And we would move on with life because there was no legit medical care, no nothing like that. People died literally all the time.
Right.
So you just had to play it cool. And on top of that, Giulia was a wise woman. She also coached her clients to cry, show emotion, and ask for a doctor to examine the body. Because if they do all of these things, that'll help them push the suspicion away and think that they're just a grieving widow.
Wow, she a full service gal.
Truly is.
She's not just, here's my poison, I'm getting out. She's like, now that you have signed up for my product, you must take my 12-step acting course.
Giulia Tofana was a girl's girl, and she was going to set you up for success.
How can I describe this catastrophe? I had worked hard for nearly 2 years, that I might infuse a spark of being into the lifeless thing that lay at my feet. I beheld the wretch, the miserable monster whom I had created.
Regarding Frankenstein is crowdfunding now. Go to bit.ly/REFrankenstein to support the show.
When the flu is keeping you up at night, don't try to tough it out. Knock out your flu symptoms with NyQuil Intense Flu. You got this. It provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms so you can sleep well through the night. NyQuil Intense Flu. The nighttime sniffling, aching, fever, best sleep with a flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
There's the part of me that everyone sees. I'm Howie Mandel, the comedian. Apparently, I know what funny is. Funny bought me a house, but I also know what isn't funny. OCD. I've lived with OCD my entire life, and people throw the term around like it's no big deal. But OCD is severe, often debilitating. It's a mental health condition that involves unrelented, unwanted thoughts that can make you question your character, your beliefs, even your safety. General therapy can help with some things, but for OCD, it can actually make things worse. That's why I want to tell you about NoCD. NoCD is the world's largest treatment provider for OCD and is covered by insurance for over 155 million Americans. Their licensed therapists specialize in ERP, the most effective treatment for OCD. If you think you might be struggling with OCD, go to nocd.com to book a free 15-minute call. They are here to help.
Well, if she's so thought out, how did she get caught? There's a couple thoughts on this. So, according to most sources, it is said that her business literally successfully fooled the authorities for decades during the 1600s. She might have even gone as far as to just live her whole life and not get caught if it wasn't for this one bitch. So, in about 1650, there was a client, which, by the way, I am going to say, on top of being so methodical with like how to administer it, how to act during it, how to act after it, she was also usually very, very careful on who would even know about the like secret kill your husband side of things, right? Because she had like the shop, whatever.
Yeah.
And of course had the cosmetics there. That's why they chose Aqua Tofana to look like a face oil type of situation. She was usually really careful on who it was. And it was very much like word of mouth, like people would refer their friends or what have you. So this definitely was unexpected. So, like I said, we're in 1650-ish. This woman is about to serve her husband a bowl of soup laced with a drop of Aqua Tofana. But she had buyer's remorse because before he could take a spoonful of it, she freaked out and begged him not to eat it and, knocked it away, whatever. And of course, this man's like, what the fuck? And basically, he started abusing her to force out what the hell was going on. And when she admitted that she had poisoned him, he immediately turned her into police. And then the police tortured her. And then they finally got out of her that she got the Aqua Tofana from Giulia Tofana. Authorities go and look for her, right? And originally, she had escaped to, there was a church nearby where they had given her, they said they would grant her sanctuary. And that was until, though, there was a rumor started, which I'm going to say, I bet the fucking police did it or this husband that was an almost victim did it. They started a rumor that she was dumping Aqua Tofana to poison the local water supply, like, of that area.
But that would kill everyone.
Exactly.
Including her. Because, like, what was she going to drink?
Yeah.
Stupid people.
Right. So, of course, the church was kind of like, are you, like, literally, are you trying to kill everybody? What the fuck? You're trying to kill us? We can't help you. Sorry. So police come and arrest her, and they brutally torture this woman. They get her to finally put out a confession, and she says that she has killed as many as 600 men between the years of 1633 and 1651, thanks to her sales of Aqua Tofana.
That is a successful product campaign. That's a lot of bitches who were like, I'm done with my man.
Allegedly, though, because there is some kind of like, did this really happen? Because people do wonder if she was just so tortured that she just said this insane number. But I like to believe if we're going to be an evil lady, Black Widow style, you got to go big.
I actually think her number was probably like deflated.
Oh, could be.
Because she's probably like, I don't want to say the real number because it's probably really big. Because I'm assuming that she was so good at what she did and people were talking, like word of mouth. People were probably coming from other countries to see her. Because think about how like in today's world, we're like, oh, I have this like this moisturizer. It's from France. Could you imagine people be like, I went all the way to Italy to get this blemish oil?
Yep. However, others suggest that the soup story didn't even happen. And it was more like, because of this vast number, they started noticing that, quote, they started to notice that young widows were unusually abundant, that there was just like way too many of them because these men were dropping like flies, which is like, yeah, if you're killing 600 men over like basically less than 20 years, like, yeah, you're going to notice that. That's a lot.
That would make sense. Yeah.
But either way, she was arrested, tortured, gave that confession, and put on trial where, of course, she was found guilty. Now, the aftermath of all of that was that, unfortunately, Giulia Tofana was executed in Campo dei Fiori in Rome in 1695, along her daughter, 3 of her helpers, and additionally, over 40 of her customers who were from lower class. Because, of course, people who were of upper class were either imprisoned or, quote, escaped, or they said that they had no idea and they only went for the cosmetics and swore by it, so people believed them. And then for the top tier people that were clients, there was actually some that the Pope had excused from being executed. It's all about who you know.
I'm sorry. So these corrupt priests were involved, but the Pope wasn't.
Nope.
This isn't equality. Like, okay, look, I'm not here to be like, you should kill your husband. I don't think you should. But like, honestly, this woman had a thriving business, and men of Italy in the 1600s, what the fuck were you doing? I do not think these women were just out here because they were like, you know what? I think we should just have our own little community of widowed women. This isn't like they made a pack. This isn't a pregnancy pack moment. This is like my husband was doing bad things to me and I had to take back my strength somehow. Also, I bet her other cosmetics were bomb too. Like, I bet like she had some like fancy ass shit in her store.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. And I mean, you have to think about it too. It's like, it was like, unfortunately, the only way for them to escape and not be shunned from society was to survive their husband,
right?
Which is that's just gross on its own. So it's like, nobody should have been surprised that this fucking happened. But, you know, people always like to underestimate women. So that's fine. You learn your lesson, I guess. Mm-hmm. So there actually is a historian who wonders if Aqua Tofana was legitimately executed or not. Some believe that even though the poison ring trial in Rome did happen with this group of people, there's a chance that she might have escaped. And there's this guy named Mike Dash at the University of Cambridge. He has a theory that she died peacefully and was not executed, possibly in 1651, actually. So even before all of this happened.
Oh, okay.
And that they carried on her legacy, which I thought that is really interesting and would make sense because we already know her, whether it's biological or found daughter, was all up in this business anyway, was part of being the supply person. So that wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. And there are some other accounts saying that in 1709, the French traveler Jean-Baptiste Labat described the capture and execution of an elderly woman in Naples who sold bottles of clear poison disguised as Saint Manna. Upon the same time, Nicholas von Garelli, physician to the Holy Roman Empire Charles VI, claimed to have seen legal documents attributing to 600 deaths to the use of Aqua Tofana. Then in 1730, Johann Keisler, a fellow of the Royal Society, wrote of an aged female poisoner known as Tofana who had allegedly murdered hundreds and was imprisoned in Naples. So maybe she continued on and maybe she got caught in Naples. They don't really know for sure, considering our history of how all of this is documented.
It's true. And like, there could have just been like multiple people who were like ahead of it because it could be in like different areas. I hope she escaped.
Oh, yeah, because here's the thing. So I didn't fully go into what was all in Aqua Tofana, but like, motherfucker, you get this slipped into your stuff, you're just not going to have a chance. Let's be real. Because I mentioned the daughter, she would get the arsenic, right? Well, on top of that, it was also believed that there was belladonna in this, which is also extremely poisonous, and lead.
That would make sense why there was a lot of tummy aches.
It's one of those things where these resources were readily available. So there could have been multiple Aqua Tofanas. There could have been multiple Giulia Tofanas or Tofana, whatever, that they went by. Who knows?
It would make sense because if, let's say, one got captured, then you just kind of like shut down for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you like open back up in like a couple years after the dust has settled.
Well, right. And it's like, it's the 1600s, 1700s. You can literally just pick up and go move somewhere else. You could move 30 minutes away from you and people probably wouldn't even know who you were.
Very true.
Craziness. But interesting enough, fun little side fact, Mozart's involved in this case. For those who don't know, he fell extremely ill at the age of 35. And as his health deteriorated, he allegedly said, quote, "I feel definitely that I will not last much longer. I am someone that has been poisoned. I cannot rid myself of this idea. Someone gave me Aqua Tofana and calculated the precise time of my death." Now, while it's not known exactly what led to his untimely demise, some believe that it is because of Aqua Tofana and someone slipped him some. However, most people don't think this is the truth, let alone this specific mixture from Giulia. Many researchers have proposed a ton of other explanations, including like a strep infection, basically, a fever, or kidney failure, and a bunch of other things. But the reason why people like to mention this one and why I'm mentioning it here is because really, obviously, at the end of the day, they couldn't rule out he wasn't poisoned either. So I will leave that mystery on to you. But like I said, in cases like Aqua Tofana, we get these stories of women striking back to the power in Europe during this time and things like that. But what's interesting about it is they can pinpoint these events, right? So it's like they can pinpoint the execution, they can pinpoint, the trials and things like that. But I just find it always so fascinating that it's like no one can actually legit prove that Giulia Tofana was even a real person. It's so fascinating to me because it's like, then you even start to question more is this an urban legend? Like just based off of because there was so many other poisoner cases, was this real? I like to believe she's real and I love this. And male listeners, I'm sorry, but it's so fascinating to me that there was, not only Giulia, but so many other people who set up these apothecaries and stuff. And they're doing these crazy evil plans to help poison people. But it's you have to think about it because they had no other option. I'm being a Giulia Tofana apologist right now. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But it's they literally had no other options. And it's she's almost like a fucked up poisoner Robin Hood type of person.
Yeah. I keep thinking, it's really interesting is that Giulia Tofana is basically the first MLM ever.
Oh my God.
Because she's she started a business and I can just see now you take this recipe and you go open your apothecary and you have to set goals, ladies, goals. She's the first boss, babe boss, right?
Boss babe, yes.
There we go. Yeah. Boss babe. She's that. And, she was what does the market need? Well, there's an abundance of abusive men. I gotcha.
Let's get rid of them. Yeah. Yeah.
Also, I have to share, fun fact, I have been to Mozart's home.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Love that.
In Salzburg, Austria.
Oh, how was that?
It was fine. I remember I went, because it's the house he was born in.
Uh-huh.
It was his family home.
Yeah.
And I learned that his father was a famous violinist. And so I got to go into their kitchen and things like that and be able to see all of the stuff.
I love it.
I believe it was 3 stories.
Mm-hmm.
And so we walked through it and they were this is believed to be Mozart's home. They weren't British. They definitely had an Austrian accent. I don't know why I made them British.
It's fine.
It was cool.
I love that.
One of the things I love about Europe is you just are walking down the street and they're oh, and then this is a historical home next to a Claire's. I remember I bought a purse across the street.
Oh my God. All right. Well, that is going to go ahead and wrap up our episode on Aqua Tofana.
Aqua Tofana.
We hope that you guys enjoyed and we will go ahead and sign off and we will see you back here on Sunday for another Sunday Scaries. Bye guys.
Toodles.